one-step reboot. In this video, we will learn how to run a Java program from Notepad. Before jumping into the video, if you are new to this channel, kindly please subscribe us. Now let's create a Java program in our Notepad. Open any text editor of your choice. In my case, I will open Notepad++. Let's create a Java class. Let's say class, and the name of the class can be add. And let's create a main method, public static void main, which has string args, and let's have variable a with the value 5 and b with the value 3 and c, and let's add up a and b and store the value in c. C equals a plus b, and we have to print the output, so system.out.println the sum of a and b is, and let's append the c with the text. Let's close the bracket. Now before saving, there is one thing to remember. The name of the file of the source code should be the same as the class name which contains the main method. That is, in our case, class add contains main method, so our file name should be add. So let's go ahead and save the program. Press Ctrl S, and let's choose a folder to save. Let me choose a folder, and here simply write add followed by .java extension and click on enter. Now that our source code is saved, go ahead and search for the command prompt. In your Windows search bar, type cmd, which will navigate to the command prompt. Now navigate to the folder where you have saved the Java source code. It's in a folder named Java PRG in documents. So let me say we have to go there, and to compile the program, write javac and followed by the file name with the extension. Click on enter. If you don't get anything after that, it means your Java source code is compiled successfully. Now you can go ahead and run your Java program. To run your Java program, the command you have to use is simply java followed by the file name without the extension, and it is java add, and click on enter. And here we get our success output. That is, we get the sum of a and b is 8, which is when we add 5 and 3, we'll get the result as 8. Let's make some errors and let's see how this comes out, how command prompt shows us the errors. Here let me make some mistake, like let me remove the bracket over here, and let me save the program. Now one thing you have to remember is whenever you modify the source code, you have to compile the Java code. So again you have to go with javac add.java and click on enter. See, we get an error pointing on that line. It says not a statement, it is expected, and it says the errors, and we have to go back and again correct the error. And if you run back again, if you compile it again, we will not get any error. See? Yes. Now simply run the code, java followed by add, and click on enter. Here we got our output. Simple. Now let's see what happens if we have one or more class in our source code. When you have only one class in your source code, when you go back to your folder where you have saved your Java program, Java source code, you can see a class file with the same name as your source code. That is nothing but the compiler creates a class file to run, which will be used by the by JDK to run the Java program. Make sure you do not delete the .class file. Now let's see how our source code will be treated when we have one or more class. Let's say we have a class named subtract, and in it, let's say we have a method public void sub, which will subtract two integers, that is, and let's say x equals 10 and y equals 5, and this is x, and let's say system.out.println, and the difference between x and y is. Now here we have to subtract it and subtract x and y and save it in z. So let's say z equals x minus y, and let's append z here, and let's close the code. And let us say we have another class called class calc, which will contain the main method and when you see the Java source code, a Java file will not contain two classes with main methods. Whether it has to be in separate classes, separate files, or only one class in a file should contain the main method. So let's remove the static keyword and let's change the main method name to add, and let's remove the string args parameter. And now let's create the object of both the classes add and subtract in our main class calc. Simply write add a equals, let's say add sum equals new add, and let's call the method using the object of the class add, that is sum dot add. This will simply call the method add, and when this method add is executed, it will do all the operations inside the specified method. Now let's create the same way as subtract diff equals new subtract, and we have to call the method of the subtract class. So let's say diff dot sub. Let's close the program. Now we have to change our class name, file name, because our add class doesn't contain the main method anymore. So make sure you change the name of the file to calc.java and click on enter. Now open your command prompts and compile our Java C calc.java, click on enter, and see we have successfully compiled our calc.java program. So now go back to the file explorer and see what happened to the class calc.java. It created two other classes. One is calc.class and the other is subtract.class. And there is already a class available with the name of add.class. It maintained the same. So now that you have known that, the compiler will create each class file for each class which is available in a source file. Okay. Now let's go ahead and run our Java program. Java calc. Click on enter. Now we got our output. The sum of a and b is 8 and the difference between x and y is 5. It is nothing but our Java program came into the class which has the main method and it started running those code. And in the main method we call the add method of the class add. So first this method got executed and the control came back to the next line, that is line number 22, and it started executing the line 22 and 23. In line 22 and 23 we are specifying to call the method sub from the class subtract. So it called this method. So it is simple in Notepad that we have to first write the code and we have to compile it in command prompt and we have to run the code in command prompt. These all are made more simpler with using a software called Eclipse, which we will see in our upcoming videos. There everything is simple. You can type your code, you can run your code, you can compile your code, debug your code, everything in one platform, and it makes it easier to write your Java program. That's it for the video guys. Thank you for watching.